There are nights that change a person forever, and this was one of them. A lonely road. A single father driving home, exhausted, drowning in bills and broken dreams, when suddenly, his headlights landed on something he could never unsee. A woman lying on the roadside. Broken. Motionless. Barely breathing, and when he turned her face toward the light, his heart stopped. He knew her. And the truth would destroy him. Before I continue, tell me where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments. And hey, if this story touches your heart in any way, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps stories like this alive. He was Daniel. 35, widowed, raising his 8-year-old daughter Rose alone. Life had been hitting him from every direction, and he was barely holding on. Every morning began with tired eyes and every night ended with silent prayers. Rent overdue. His daughter's school fees pending. And worst of all, that lonely ache of parenting without a partner. Rose was his light, his laughter, and his only reason to wake up, but happiness often felt like a faraway destination he couldn't afford to reach. On this night, Daniel was returning home from a late shift at a small workshop. Rain misted across the windshield, and the radio hummed quietly, trying to comfort a man whose world never seemed to give him rest. He rubbed his eyes at a red light, thinking about how he'd tell Rose they might need to move again. Her little drawings hung on every wall of that tiny apartment, and the thought of taking them down twisted something inside him. Then the road turned dark and empty. Miles stretched with nothing but trees, silence, and Daniel's restless thoughts. He didn't see her at first. It was just a shadow on the ground, until his headlights caught pale skin and blood splattered against the gravel. Daniel's breath punched out of him. He slammed the brakes, heart pounding, and stumbled out into the cold air. Hey! Hey, can you hear me? The woman didn't move. Rain clung to her hair, her clothes torn, her arms limp. Panic surged, but instinct took over. He crouched beside her, checked her pulse, faint, but there. He gently turned her face toward him, and the world tilted. It was Emily, the one woman Daniel had loved before life hardened him. The girl who once promised forever, and then disappeared without a word. She left him shattered years ago, just months before he met the woman who became his wife. He had never expected to see Emily again, and definitely not like this. Broken. Bruised. And unable to speak or move, his hands shook as he called for help, then lifted her carefully into his truck, whispering, "Stay with me. Please." The drive felt endless. Old feelings clawed up his chest, hurt, confusion, buried love he thought had died. Why was she here? Who did this to her? And why, after all these years, did fate bring her back like this? At the hospital, doctors rushed her away. Hours passed. Daniel sat motionless in a cold chair, soaked shirt clinging to him, replaying the sight of her broken body. Memories he avoided for years flooded back. Her laugh. Her promise to never leave. And then her silence. The unanswered calls. The unanswered why. A soft voice interrupted him. "Sir, she's stable, but," the doctor paused, eyes heavy. "She can't walk. She has spinal damage. And based on bruising, she's been abused for a long time." Something inside Daniel cracked that he asked to see her. When he entered the room, she looked so small, wrapped in wires and bandages. Her eyes fluttered open. Fear. Shame. Recognition. "Daniel," her voice was broken, barely a whisper. Tears slid down her cheeks. "I didn't want to leave you. I was forced to. I thought I could protect you by staying away." Her words shook. She told him everything. How she'd fallen into a dangerous relationship after leaving. How she tried to escape. How tonight, she finally did, only to collapse on that lonely road. Daniel's chest ached. The pain he carried for years suddenly felt so small compared to what she endured. He took her hand gently. "You're safe now. I promise." Days passed. Daniel stayed by her side, juggling work, taking Rose to school, visiting Emily, holding everything together like he always did. Rose adored her at first sight, sensing her sadness and gently offering drawings and giggles. That child healed rooms just by being in them. Emily slowly regained strength mentally, though her body remained weak. She would cry sometimes, believing she didn't deserve help. "Why are you doing this?" she asked one evening, voice trembling. "You owe me nothing." Daniel looked at her, eyes soft, tired, but full of quiet strength. "Once, you were my home. You broke me, yes. But life breaks all of us in different ways. And we heal together. Not alone." That night, Emily cried in a way that releases years of pain. For the first time, she wasn't running. She wasn't hiding. She was held. Seen. Safe. Weeks passed into months. Emily learned to sit again, then move in a wheelchair. She played board games with Rose, laughed softly at Daniel's tired dad jokes, and slowly, gently, life began to stitch itself back together. Hurt didn't vanish. Scars didn't magically fade. But gratitude grew where fear used to live. Love returned, not the youthful love they once had, but something deeper. Something earned through pain, patience, and second chances. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Emily whispered, "You saved me." Daniel shook his head, smiling a tired, honest smile. "No. We saved each other." Life doesn't always bring closure through revenge or justice. Sometimes, the greatest justice is healing. Sometimes, the most heroic thing a person can do is stay when life gives them every reason to walk away. And if you've ever felt broken, abandoned, or forgotten, remember, rock bottom isn't the end. Sometimes, it's where the rebirth begins. If this story reached your heart, share it. Let someone out there know they are not alone. And tell me in the comments, do you believe in second chances? I'm right here reading with you.